Welcome back to the Fat Loss series. Here we are at episode number 4, which is all about training programming. So what have we discussed so far? We've run through the expected rate of loss. How much can you lose? How much can you lose? But how much maybe should you lose? The time frames being worked towards. Spoke you through last time on how to calculate those calories and macros. And this is another big part of that. And it is how to set up your training. So what I'm going to do is just take you through a series of questions that I would sit down and ask yourself. And at the end, I'm going to give you some options and I'm going to give you some free downloads for training programs you can take away and you can try for yourself. So the few questions that I want you to just sit down and think about and go through. First question, how many times per week can you consistently commit to? And the reason I say consistently commit to, because there might be weeks where you could go 5, there might be other weeks where you could go 3, there might be times where you could get there 7 days a week. But if on a consistent basis, you can pretty much guarantee getting yourself to the gym 4 times a week, aim for 4 times a week. The odd week where you happen to get a bit more in, maybe you've got the opportunity to go another time, fantastic. Maybe we could use that for cardio. Maybe we could add in another little session. But if you know that pretty consistently you can get there 4 times a week, aim for 4 times a week. If you think it's 3 times a week, aim for 3 times a week. If you can commit and guarantee most of the time 5 times a week, go 5 times a week. Now, I know that there's always going to be things that are going to crop up, like your kids are going to get sick, you're not going to be able to go, you're going to get sick, etc., etc. But think about on a consistent basis with a fairly normal routine in place, how many times can you get to the gym? Question number 1. How long do you have available for each of those sessions would be the second question. So if you know, right, I can go to the gym 4 times a week and I can be in the gym for 45 to 50 minutes because it takes me 15 to 20 minutes to get there. It takes me 15 to 20 minutes to get home or to work. You know, that gives me a total window of an hour and a half. But my workout, it's 45, 50 minutes long. If it's a bit more, like maybe you go after work, so actually there's a bit more time available, you could be in the gym up to an hour and a half because you've got that time free. Fantastic. Note all of that stuff down as well. So by this time, we know how many days a week we can go and we know what time we've got available. That time might vary as well, by the way. Like it might be that on a Monday, you've got more time, but on a Wednesday, it's a bit less time. Again, all of that's fine. Just make notes of that because it's all going to help when it comes to actually pulling the plans together. The next thing, what equipment do you have access to? This will make a difference because, if you're trying to follow a plan that's got you doing a hack squat, but your gym doesn't have a hack squat, it's not going to be much use, is it? So think about the equipment that you've got available. Is that in a gym? Is that at home? All of these things, again, they're going to make a difference as to what you program, how you do it, the exercises you include, etc. How much experience do you have with lifting? Again, this will make a difference because if you're somebody who's pretty new, isn't quite sure about how movement patterns work, machines work, equipment works, there might be a very different approach for you than somebody who's been in the gym for 5, 10 years, who is very experienced, who is just looking to step things up to the next level. So again, have a think about the experience you've got. Are there any particular body parts that you want to focus on or need to focus on more so than others? Now, again, it's not uncommon for men to want big chests, arms and shoulders. It's not uncommon for women to want bigger glutes and legs. But that isn't always the case, and that's not the same for everyone. You might just want to bring up everything. So you want quite a nice rounded program that works on everything. You might have more lower body focus. So that might alter the split that you do. It might alter the way that you work out. But are there any specific areas that you want to work on? And are there any injuries or restrictions to think about? Again, this will make a difference on how you program, the exercises that can be included, etc., etc. So all of those 6 initial questions are going to play a big role in the way that things are programmed. Now, one of the things that I do for the guys that I work with is take all of that information on board and very much tailor everything uniquely for them. Make sure that all of their their equipment access is sorted. It makes sure that the time they've got available, the split based on the days a week, every single thing is completely bespokely customized for them. It's also tweaked and adjusted because, again, we might start with something like a hack squat, but actually they find they're really struggling to gel with it, or that particular piece of equipment just doesn't feel quite right. What have we got then as available to swap that to? Do they prefer and feel really good with a barbell back squat? Is there a pendulum squat? Do we need to swap it out completely for something like a leg press? All of these things become, things that I can do. What I'm going to give you here are just some examples of what things might look like. So if you've got 3 days available to train, a very, very good, solid, staple way to program that is 3 full body sessions per week. Gives your body 3 opportunities to hit every muscle. Really, really good way to split things. And there'll be a 3-day full body split available for you to download in the comment section, in the description. If you've got 4 days, again, there are different things that you can do. A very good balanced program is going to be upper, lower, upper, lower. 2 opportunities to hit your upper body, 2 opportunities to hit your lower body. And I'll give you a 4-day upper, lower split in the description. You can download that for free and you can use that as well. There are various other ways that you might want to do things. So just again, to give you an example, if you had a bit more of a desire to improve your upper body, you might do something like push-pull legs upper. That hits your upper body 3 times a week and it hits your lower body just once. So that becomes a potential option there as well. You might have a bit more focus on lower body and you might actually have like a full lower session. You might have 2 other lower sessions, one that's a bit more glute and hamstring focused, one that's a bit more quad focused, and then you might just have 1 full upper body session. All of these things become options, but it depends on you, it depends on your goals, and it depends on everything else that we've mentioned in those initial questions. If you've got 5 days a week to train, lots and lots of options available here. So a split that I particularly like is push-pull legs upper, lower. 3 opportunities to hit your upper body, 2 opportunities to hit your lower body. And I'll give you an example of that you can take away, download for free in the description. But again, you might have different things. You might want to do something like lower, upper, lower, upper, lower. That gives you more lower body focus. You might want to do upper, lower, upper, lower, upper. That gives you a bit more upper body focus. You could do something like upper, lower, full upper, lower, which is a bit more balanced. Like there's so many different options available. Depending on what you've got, I've given you 3 different options there, whether you're training 3 days a week, 4 days a week, or 5 days a week. Generally speaking, I would say for most people, 5 days a week is going to be more than enough. Any more than that, you potentially start to impact how much you recover. You also have the potential actually to just place a little bit of unnecessary stress on yourself, because if you're training even 5 days a week and you've got 2 rest days, 2 non-training days, should for whatever reason you miss a training day, sickness, work deadlines, kids are ill, whatever it is, you still got 2 days in your week to sort of catch up on that. Whereas if you're trying to train 6 days a week or even 7 days a week, if you miss a session, there's no opportunity to catch that up. So I would probably, generally speaking, for most people, 3 to 4 is a really good amount to aim for, with the nature of being a parent, having a job, doing all of the other things that life involves. 3 to 4 times a week for a lot of people is plenty. I personally train 5 days a week. I make the time for it. It's something that means a lot to me, but I probably would struggle to get there more than 5. So as I say, have a think about what works best for you. You've got some plans available there to download for absolutely free. And if you've got any questions on those or any other questions on training, maybe it's looking at stuff and thinking, the plan that I've downloaded from you says to do this, but I don't have access to that bit of equipment. What can I swap it for? Always happy to take those questions. ben@benhowardfitness.com is the email address. You can find me on any of my socials at Ben Howard Fitness. All of those links are in the description as well. Or drop a little comment below and I'll answer that in as much detail as possible. But I hope this makes sense on the training side of things. Make sure you're training hard. Make sure you're putting in a lot of work, but enjoy those plans and let me know if you've got any questions.